Got a secret, can you keep it? Swear this one you'll save. Better lock it in your pocket, taking this one to the grave. If I show you, then I know you won't tell what I said. 'Cause two can keep a secret if one of them is dead. Why do you smile like you've been told a secret? Now you're telling lies 'cause you have sworn to keep it.
In trying to figure out who would be the right Barnard woman, who would make a great Barnard woman, we do go through a process every year in our training of new readers and training of experienced readers as well, where we talk about the Barnard women that we know. We talk about students that we've read and admitted in prior years. We talk about alumni. We sit down with the residential life staff. We sit down with faculty members on campus. We learn about the different departments because we go out and we talk about many different departments. We also learn about the kinds of students that they've met, and they tell us stories and anecdotes. We do spend a lot of time kind of going through those traits that that are really great matches to what a Barnard woman could grow to become. I think one thing that's really challenging is 17-year-olds aren't necessarily where they will become. So they might show some of these traits, but the growth and development that they would be able to experience through Barnard is really what makes them a Barnard woman. An application, when it reaches our office, typically applications are sent electronically these days via the Common Application website, although we still get a few that come in the mail. Every piece of paper that comes to Barnard that is to be made part of an application is actually tracked in our system. So meaning that people have their hands on it, that there is a record that the application and all the materials are here. We take note of that, and then we download all of the data from the application. So it starts as data, it ends up as an application file. We still read as regular application files on paper, and so once the application is matched up with all the other materials, it becomes part of a big bright yellow file. When we read applications, we begin with the first reader, who is assigned based upon the region of the U.S. or of the world that she's responsible for. So as the regional reader, she's the person that typically has traveled to that region, but even if she hasn't traveled to the area of the country or of the world that she's responsible for reviewing, she'll get to know the applicant and get to know the applicant's high school through information that's provided by their school. So after that first reader, we'll go through the application and review it fully, reading all the teacher recommendations, reading the transcript and reviewing that, reading the letters or the essays that are written by each student. That application is typically sent on to a second reader, who is one of our other staff members who has a bit more of an objective view than that first reader on the application. There's a full read done by that second reader, and they make comments, and then every application is evaluated through a committee process. The members of our committee here at Barnard are all admissions officers. So everyone from the dean through all of the admissions counselors. We have 11 counselors who will participate in our review process and committee. No one admissions officer makes a final decision on an applicant. It's a committee decision. Each reader does things a little bit differently. What I usually do when I read an application, the first thing that I typically will reach for is the student's transcript. And then the writing, both the writing of the student and the writing that the teachers would submit on behalf of the student. We learn quite a bit through that writing. We learn about the way that a student thinks about things. We learn about, again, whether a student would be a good fit within our smaller size classrooms here at Barnard. To us, reviewing a transcript, not only does it tell us about a student over a long period of time. By the time that they apply for regular decision deadline of January 1, they've usually completed at least 7 semesters of high school. So it's a long-term piece of evidence as to what kind of a student that woman would be should she choose to enroll at Barnard. So it provides a lot of information in that sense, but it's also something that we review in context. We look really carefully at the curriculum that's available at a student's school. We look at those choices that she's taken in terms of the rigor that she's chosen to challenge herself with, especially in the junior and senior years, and how well she's done in those classes. Essays tell us quite a bit about a person. There's no one correct topic, and there's no one taboo or bad topic overall. It really should be a topic where the student knows something about it, so it requires that a student has some knowledge of that topic area, but it doesn't have to be the culmination of the 17 years of their life thus far. They can pick a smaller moment, they can pick a small detail that they want to write about. How it tells us about the student, though, is in the way that she reflects on the ideas that she's writing about. So if you look at the common application, the questions are rather broad, but they all have a couple of things in common. They all use the word you, because the story that a student is writing about is really more of a personal narrative than it is a critical essay. The other words that you'll typically find in those common application questions are the word influence or impact. So it requires that a student, in talking about and thinking about her topic, carves out some time to really think about why she's writing about that topic. And in doing that, she's really showing us how she thinks about ideas. When students are writing personal statement essays, they definitely write about topics that are similar. If I think about over the course of the last 20 years and the kind of experiences I've had both as a guidance counselor and an admission officer in reading essays and helping students to edit essays as a counselor, I've pretty much seen every topic out there. So that's why I say there's really no taboo topic. There's no topic that you must stay away from, except for that topic that you don't really know anything about. So it's not appropriate for someone to write an essay thinking only about who they're writing it for. If a student tries to tout too much about their achievements in an essay, they haven't really read the questions, they haven't really thought about what kinds of information they need to be talking about in an essay. An application does include a whole list of extracurricular activities. Teachers will praise different things that the student has been involved in, but the essay is more of an opportunity to give more personal perspective. So rather than it be something that touts all the other things that are available in other parts of the application, the student should really be thinking about what she wants to communicate, what ideas are important to her, what's really had an effect over the last 17 and a half years of her life. And that might be a place to start with a good essay topic. But there's no one topic that's bad, there's no one topic that's good. Do be genuine and authentic. What's the don't? Don't try to write for someone else. Don't imagine that we want to hear someone who has the perspective of a 40 or a 50-year-old looking back on her life. So don't try and be someone else in your application.